Welcome to 247 Real Talk. I'm your host, Julian Perry. It's a pleasure to be here with you again for another episode of the 247 Real Talk podcast. It is Thursday, May 15th. Once again, I'm late with recording my episode for this week. It's been a hectic week, a lot of changes at work and other things going on in life, but I never forsake you. I always make sure that I record these episodes. It's pretty late. It's about 10:35, so by the time I'm finished this and edited and have it posted so you can have it in the morning at 5 a.m., it'll be pretty late. But this is what we do here at this podcast as we share our thoughts, our good wishes, and our will to empower, to assist, to give people hope, and to share the love that we get through the Christ who strengthens us. Usual update on my knee. My knee continues to improve. My right knee that's going through physical therapy from the total knee replacement, and the left knee continues to get worse. Surgery on the left knee is inevitable as soon as the right knee reaches the place where I feel comfortable with it. Anyway, I'm not going to waste much of your time. I'm going to get ready for an episode this week where I'm going to talk about something that was in the headlines that really makes you have to wonder who really cares about you. So sit back, relax, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, quick as it may be, and first off, let me start again by welcoming all of my listeners, new listeners, old listeners, regular listeners, super listeners, those who make sure that every week they have to put their thoughts together and send me some encouragement, send me some points of discussion, simply saying hello at podcast@247realtalk.net. Thank you for all the emails. I'm forever grateful for your support and continued support. I'll ask you to like, share, comment, subscribe. All these things go a far way to helping the channel as I continue to do this all on my own. This is not a monetized channel. This is a pure, unbiased, from the heart conversation that we have each and every week. And shout out to Saramonic K9. You can let me know in the email, in the comments, how I sound this week. I'm testing out the Saramonic K9 microphone. And I hope that it sounds, as good as it seems to when on the meters in front of me. So I want to talk about something that should touch every single life, irrespective of your religion, your political ideology, anything that is used in the world today to divide or to create a divide in between those of us in this nation, a nation that's already heavily divided. So I found out this week that the administration has rolled back some PFAS standards in drinking water and delayed others. Now, for this quick conversation, and it will be quick because, like I said, it's late, I'm tired, and I hate to come to you when I can't give you the best of me, but let's talk about this for a second. So there's a move to rescind standards put in place last year to restrict allowable levels of several so-called forever chemicals found in drinking water supplies across the United States, while giving water systems an additional 2 years to meet rules enacted at the same time for other toxins of a similar type. It goes on to talk about there are substances, not just in water, but other things, other materials, other foods that may be linked to high blood pressure, some cancers, and other illnesses. And these are being widely used in consumer products, including electronics, cookware, firefighting foam, and we know that they build up in the water and in the environment over time. Now, again, this channel is a purely independent-minded channel. I never focus on one ideology or another, political ideology that is, or any for that matter. I simply talk about what is good for humankind. I'm not sure who came up with the idea to roll this back, but I have to think that it's driven by greed or money. It's driven by companies who are looking at their bottom lines and profits and realize that these restrictions that were enacted will force them to find healthier ways to treat us, the people who support them, if they want to stay in business. I remember growing up as a kid, we would see people die, not at the rate they did today. It just seemed like it was less. But also, I don't think I ever, for the first maybe 15 years of my life, even heard about something called cancer. These days, every time I go in the supermarket, and my wife goes in the supermarket, we pick up the whatever it is, food, and we sit there. We spend more time reading the labels to find out what's in the products than we do in the buying the products in the supermarket. I would have thought that when these restrictions were put in place, they were put there for the preservation of life. We're living in a time where greed has overcome our society again. And the quality of life and the ability for the masses, the majority, to live has been put on the back burner because it's getting in the way of profit and greed and wealth. Wealth that, while people may flaunt it and enjoy it in this world, you can't take it to the next. When you leave here, you leave it here. I often say that when I think about people who make lists that mark them as the richest person or people in the world with billions of dollars, 200, 300, 400 billions of dollars. And I wonder to myself, and most of these people are not young people, right? They're in the third trimester of life, if you want to call it that. What is their plan? I mean, beyond leaving something for your family, for your kids, education. It'd be nice that they don't have to pay for that, because education, I talked about that in my last episode, is just ridiculously high, the cost. But who can you send to school in your family? How many houses can you buy, and cars and jewelry and the unnecessary materialistic, frivolous things that we look to flaunt when we are so shallow in life? Even if you chose to adorn yourself with all those things. 400, 300, 200, 100 billion dollars has become a monument to these people. It's almost like their money is stacked up in real life in a bank, and they look to see how high they can get the pyramid to go, so they can drive by it every day, point at that bank and say, I've got $100 billion in there, or maybe go into some place and have some symbolism of it too that they can worship. While the world has got millions and millions of people who are suffering from poverty, are in a food crisis, are in a health crisis. And a lot of these crises can be averted by some influx of money. Why exactly do you think human beings strive to be rich? So let's examine this for a quick second. If you follow the conventional way, your plan is to, I'm sorry, I have to turn this fan off. It's hot in the studio, but I think it's coming through the mic. If you follow the conventional way, you want to go to school or whatever, go to college, study the field that some people study, a field they have a passion for. Some people study in a field that they feel will make the most money. Why? Well, let's examine it. Maybe you came from poverty and you're determined to break out of it. Maybe you've seen rich people and want what they have. But do we ever recognize that these desires, the sacrifice we pay, the price we pay, the sacrifices we make to get something that we may not even live to enjoy? I remember last year, was it, when that really rich, I forgot his name, gentleman who owned the submarine, and he got several people on the submarine with him. Matter of fact, to me, it was really sad that one man took his son because he felt it would be a bonding moment. They went down to see a Titanic, and the submarine imploded. Adding their wealth together, you probably will get to $1 billion of these people who went down. You and I would never make that decision because we can't afford to make it. The things that make the average person happy is a nice roof over their head, a comfortable bed to sleep in, a decent car to drive, some nice clothes to wear, food in their mouths, the ability to feed and clothe their family, to go on a nice vacation, to have some money in the bank for a rainy day, to help out your children in their ventures and their rise in age as they go through the academic system, so they won't be burdened with what is an epidemic in this country when it comes to student loan debt. Most times when you hear somebody say, if you won the lotto, what would you do? The majority of people say, I'll buy my family houses, I'll pay off my debt, and I'll help poor people. That's because even in a world that has become so overwhelmed with evil and greed, there are a lot of good people out there. And the people who obviously are playing the lotto are not the ones who have the money. They're the ones who are looking, who are struggling every day and hoping that the day will come when their ship will sail in, right? Where their break will come. The funny thing is, what I learned in life is when we strive for breaks, if we do so without something to believe in my case, a man of spiritual belief, to survive, to become who I am, to have reached where I am in life, to still be on this journey, to still be relatively healthy despite my needs. Those are things that can be overcome with the blessings of knowledge and medicine that the Almighty God has given us as human beings. I'm relatively healthy. I have a great family, great wife, great kids. I have a home. When I purchased a home in the middle of a pandemic, when every which way I looked at it, I didn't think I could afford it, but I have, and I could. And my Creator, as far as I'm concerned, made it happen because things dropped in and fit into place in a miraculous way that I can't explain. Those are the desires of the average person. That's what we call the American dream. When people get into power and they're elected by the people to work for the people, but then they forget the people. When they are more focused on wealth than the humankind wealth, the health wealth, the livelihood wealth, the peace of mind wealth, the ability to extend the length of lives of humankind in their society by making stress levels go down, by creating an environment that more people and more people can survive in every day, by focusing on making things affordable so that people can have equal chances, by hiring people based on their merit truly, but recognizing that across the board, irrespective, blind to race, creed, color, gender, or sexual orientation, sexual preference. When recognizing humankind as humankind, that is what we strive for. That is what decent, honest people strive for. But when you're doing things, and I focused in again this episode, like repealing restrictions that actually work for the preservation of life, and by companies being allowed to use these chemicals, increases their bottom line, we've got to wonder, where have we lost our way so badly? But then we realize what's going on. Greed. Here we are, some people can't do anything else but drink tap water. They're being told that it's safe. At the same time, they're being told that it's riddled with chemicals across the country. Cases of cancer of every type have gone up. Diabetes, high blood pressure, all sorts of illnesses. Some that I've got friends who've died from ALS, at least 2 or 3 in the last 10 years. I got one dear friend childhood friend who went from feeling weakness in her ankle to being dead 5 years later from ALS. Weakness in her ankle. I've got another lady who worked for me who retired at probably around 78, full of health. At 78, she worked a long time, but she felt healthy and strong. Within 2 years after, downhill, got ALS, and in February of this year, she died. It is not conceivable to me that people who have a heart, that people who have common sense, we hope, and people who we called brilliant for maybe all the wrong reasons. There are people who recognize that they see people leave this earth every day around them. Many times they're shocked, like, whoa, I saw that person. They were just last week and now they're gone. That they don't realize how helpless we actually are, how powerless we are, and that the value of bringing joy, and if you believe in the Almighty, earning enough time on this earth to enjoy that life, this gift of life, is directly and without question tied to how you live your life, how your conscience lives, the things you do to help people when you're given positions of power, not ruin lives. Everybody has access, and I always say it to your senators, to your congressmen, we need to make sure that our voices are heard. I don't care who is in office, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent. We know the major parties are Democrat and Republican, so that's who it has been and who it probably will be for the foreseeable future. Whomever it is, it's not about who it is, it's about who we are. And regardless of who we elect, making sure that they enact policies and carry out actions that support the preservation and quality of human life, that not only make America great, but allows it to expand beyond our borders to make the world great. My family already spends way more money than we almost can afford buying foods that cost way more, because understand this, being healthy is expensive. In our garden, my wife is an amazing gardener. Shout out to Lifestyle Amalicia. She grows all sorts of vegetables, cucumbers, lettuce, kale, herbs, different types of peppers, probably 8 different species of tomatoes. We haven't bought those things in years. We use compost, so we return those organic things back into compost for more organic foods. Why? Because she's a doctor, and because she understands from her trade, her industry, how the body can decay and become destructive by chemicals. We can't get rid of it all, because even when we buy bottled water, to be honest with you, we actually don't know what's in that water. We know what we're told. And if you're like me, and I think a few years ago there was a company that was caught using tap water in this bottled water and selling it as purified bottled water, we really don't know, when we spend the extra money to do that, what we're getting. I have filters installed around my home, carbon filters. I'm hoping that, because I know the process of carbon scientifically has been proven to cleanse, but I'm hoping that what's in that filter to make it actually is made of materials void of contaminants. Not what's on the label, but what's in the heart. What people actually do in the name of betterment, in the name of making a product that's better, rather than in the name of profit. Yes, if you open a business, you must make profit. That is why you opened it. But that cannot be the only reason. Your purpose, it has to be purpose-driven, of doing something better in this world. How we treat each other. It starts with that. It starts with how we treat each other and the value we have for each other's lives. Again, none of us has the power to determine how long we live, what the quality of our life really is, and how long we stay here. And when I say what the quality of our life really is, means that any one of us can be here at a moment, smiling, happy, and the next moment we're in hospital. Before I get off this short episode, I'm going to tell you a story about a friend of mine. This brings me back to remember. A few years ago, I have someone who I met on my job maybe 20 years ago. He and I became friends. And I spoke to him because he had been out of work for about a year, and I heard he had a brain tumor. He had cancer. I'm trying to remember, glioblastomic. It's a word like that. It's just not coming to me at the moment. But he had the surgery to remove the tumor. But I asked him, I said, how did this happen? He said, Julian, man, I've been healthy all my life. I was on the phone one night with my sister, talking to her, And the next thing I know, I woke up in the hospital. My family says I was talking to the phone, I collapsed, I had a seizure, they took me to the hospital, and they had the glioblastoma. I think that's how it's pronounced. And that's what he was diagnosed with. They removed the tumor. I spoke to him a year and a half after. I said, how are you doing? He says, man, I'm doing great. The chemo is working. My hair didn't fall out. It's like I'm not even taking chemo. I said, great, I'll see you soon. 2 months later, he was dead. This is a person who never was ill. He was 50-something years old and was never ill. I'm saying that to say, number one, I don't know how that cancer was caused. He was healthy looking and he ate healthy, so who knows how he got it, how it evolved. But more so, it's just an example of here today, gone tomorrow. How all the money, wealth, and power that we have is meaningless if we don't live a life that is meaningful to others. Not self-serving, not serving a few, but doing as much as we can to as many as we can in kindness and betterment for their lives. That's how we make each other great. Don't find joy in breaking people down. Find joy in building people up. Spend less time criticizing and more time empowering. The person you think is least capable might be most capable, but for the lack of encouragement. We have to look out for each other. We live in a day that no matter who is in the administration in Washington, Democrat or Republican, I don't care who it is, rich people don't look out for the masses. We're on our own. We've allowed them to divide us and the political ideology to run rampant in between us. We've decided that somehow we're going back to the day when one race is supposedly supreme over the other. We know that not to be true. 2 reasons out of all. One, if I slice with a knife, our blood color is the same. So what we are inside is identical in structure, in chemical makeup. The only thing that differs is the pigmentation of our skins. Secondly, no matter what we do, we will leave this place one day. I often tell you that when you look at a tombstone, the dash between the sunrise and sunset days represents the value of that life lived. All I can urge you to do at this point is pay more attention to what you're eating, what you're digesting. There are many hydroponic systems and things out there that allow you to grow enough food and greens that you can live better, eat better, healthier, and do better for your lives and for your family. We cannot count on those whom we've put in places of power to make decisions for us all, because the decisions are only being made for a few. I hope that you will understand what I'm saying and that you will act on it. It's not one of those things that you can put off the burner until the next time. It's not one of those things that you want to say, oh, some other time I'll do it. It's one of those things that you have to do now. Even if you are ill, it may mean a difference of a few more years or months or time added to your lives. Don't expect those we elect to take responsibility for our lives. Do the job yourself and be responsible for yourselves. When people do the wrong thing, remember who you are, whose you are. Remember no matter how much you try to deny it, your innocence tells you that we were created by someone who is mighty and powerful, whose ways are much greater than we could ever imagine. Take heed and live a life that's remarkable, so that in your leaving this world, your legacy will be remarkable. Remember, Romans 12:21, be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Until the next time, please take care of yourselves and each other.